Hello there, Servum17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Aqua Critical Mode walkthrough. This is Radiant Garden Part 2, and I am staying up on this lip here so that I don't get assaulted by those awful wannabe Pokemon that are firing crazy leafy hair sonic booms, whatever the hell they are. They're probably the most lethal unversed that you fight, because I've never seen anything kill you so fast outside of the very final level of the game. If you go there super under-leveled and you go into one of those tornadoes, and the next thing you know you're dead, because that happened to me on one of my runs. But this is a great strategy. It's kind of like a war of attrition where you completely immobilize what they can do by getting them in the sky, and then you hit them with something hard while they're there or while they're recovering. It's pretty much the ethos of how you play this game. You know, the magic is wonderfully good. It gives you so much breathing room, and it'd be really nice if the bosses were a little bit more susceptible to some of it, but they just kind of aren't. And unfortunately for Aqua, she fights what's that guy's name? Is it Vanitas? The Ty from Digimon, who is a pretty tough boss, but he's only tough if you try and play aggressive. One of the things I learned really quickly with this game is that some of the bosses are just better than you, and they know it. So if you try and go balls to the wall, super aggressive, you're going to have a bad time. And unfortunately, I like to be that kind of player. Especially when a game has a good dodge and a decent block or counter mechanic, I like to be the aggressor, and I like to punish enemies for trying to counterattack me. However, in a lot of games, it just doesn't really work. And here is a case of that, because when we're up against that dude, we're going to be using mines, hopefully. We're going to be using poison, hopefully. We're going to be using... Is it called bind, I think he's susceptible to? And you can bounce him. So if you can bounce him in the air with Magnera or something along those lines, get him up in the air, you can then hit him with pretty much anything, and you can do some big damage. But once again, this will be the first time I fought him in a while, so my strategy wasn't all that great, I don't believe. However, by the time we get to Terra, if we fight him in that campaign, which I don't even know if we do, we might be a little bit better. And I think in the Ventus campaign, I kicked his ass a little bit, up until that final fight, and that final fight's kind of frustrating, but it's not that bad. It's just kind of long, and it's really easy to make a mistake. But I do like these games, man. There's something about Kingdom Hearts that it makes me really cheerful. It's a really happy kind of game. So we're level 11 at this point, if you want to base your campaign off of my stats. I don't have anything too crazy happening. I'm making sure I keep switching things in to be leveling stuff up. Once again, I'm not going nuts with any kind of elite early skills aside from, you know, get Fish and Faraga really early and destroy things with it. I'm also waiting for my Fire Dash to come back. Now that it's come back, I'm going to use it to not get up, which is really frustrating. That sucked. But there you go. Am I going to just say hell to it and carry on? I guess we'll soon see. But we're using a new Keyblade, it seems. This one looks like the Aladdin one, the Make-A-Wish Foundation Keyblade. I forget the name of it. And damage-wise, we're doing... Look how much better our damage is after that boss. Such a cool progression. I love it when you can see your character getting better. I always enjoy those kind of moments in games. I do prefer a game where you start out just as capable as you finish. It's just certain areas of you that got augmented. And I think this is definitely one of those kind of games, but just damage-wise, you really see a difference. And I think this is one that specialises in magic as well, so it's going to help us as Aqua, because we're going to be focusing on hitting things with spells. Oh, this tune is so good. It's the Hollow Bastion tune, because I think Radiant Historia is Hollow Bastion after it's been sealed or cleansed. I can't quite remember the terminology. But I've had a little while off the channel. I got to go see my girlfriend and have some fun with her, which was great. And it's made me really hungry to get back and start producing some videos. It's really weird as well, because now that Witcher has finished and all the videos that were circulating around Witcher, my stockpile of videos that I was sitting on is gone. So now I have to make stuff to have them ready for you, which is a feeling I've not had for a while, and it's a feeling I've quite missed, because it's an impetus that you can lose, and you can lose at inconvenience. and in comfort that is not always a good thing. It's a good thing if you want to do other things, and it enabled me to do a lot of other things, but as it stands, I'm happy to kind of be forced to produce things, because I had so much content made, like so many videos, it's not even funny. I could have probably taken like 6 months off if need be, and I've still been able to give you 2 to 3 videos a day. That's just because I worked my ass off getting those videos made, but I think it's the playthroughs. The playthroughs are so easy compared to walkthroughs. Like, it's not even a competition. It's just easier because you do it there when you're recording it, and there's no coming back to it. There's no real, you know, procrastinating or that intimidating feeling of seeing just how much you've got to come back and narrate over, because it's just done, and you've done it, most of it based on, you know, silly stories during downtime and reactions during when things were happening, which is the easiest stuff to do, and it enables you to do a lot of content in a small amount of time. So the next time you hear somebody who makes playthroughs say how, you know, it's the toughest thing in the world, or it's really hard, or it's surprisingly more challenging than you would think, while I do agree that making videos when you have to rather than when you want to is a very tricky situation to be in, and that definitely feels like work, I think playthroughs are so much less intensive. However, I do think it's traded in for the vanity of it, because in a playthrough there is a lot more failing, there is a lot more mistakes, there's a lot more moments where you're perhaps not at your best, especially when you're talking, those moments where you're just not seeing things, you're not noticing things because your brain's too busy whirring into whatever anecdote you're talking about, or you're too busy, you know, in your own head, which can definitely hurt gameplay, but it can also make the video more interesting. So I'm going to show you a little bit of creation here. I just made an attack haste and a confusion strike. I don't know if there's any warrant for that. I don't know if I was just messing about, but I did it and I left it in. And you might be wondering why you never normally see me do that if it's been missing. Well, the reason is because you should always be doing that, and everyone's going to have their own way that they go with it, everyone's going to have their own recipes that they want, and if you're ever curious on how to make something or how to get something early, you want to check out the Birth by Sleep wiki. It'll tell you all the ingredients needed to make things, it'll tell you where those things are, and it'll enable you to plot your path through the game a little better so that you can get stronger earlier and have an easier time. But once again, not my intention at all to do that, so I decided not to. I'm going to be just, you know, going through the game as if I would, trying to get through it from start to finish in a pretty brisk manner. As we take on some more Unversed, and I stop him, and I freeze him, and then I go into Spellweaver. Or I go into one of the derivatives of Spellweaver. But 2.8. And not only will it have... Oh, it's the end of the video, guys. Sorry about that. It's a bit of a cock tease. But thank you for watching anyhow, and you take care now.